Those babies here, answered all those emails, uploaded those documents, praying about it, done all that stuff. Let's clap for yourselves right now. Come on, y'all. Hey, all I know is it's happy hour right now. Come on, man. My name is Troy Kemp. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Partnerships here at RCA, but I'm also the person that serves as the Director of Admission. So you've heard from my team on all the things that you're doing, and we have a wonderful experience set up for your kids today. Now, here's the interesting thing. I know about that car ride, y'all. On that way here, you don't told them, do this, don't do that, make a left, don't do right, say this mama don't make us look bad. I don't care what's going on. Y'all know what I'm saying? And you can tell because some kids walk in the door, they be tight. And one boy this morning said, my jacket tight. I said, okay. I said, but here's the deal. They here with us for 3 hours. You can't hold your breath for 3 hours, so the real one gonna show up anyway, anyhow. Y'all know when the edges get sweated out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, y'all have a seat. Y'all have a seat. We're thrilled that you're here. We're so excited that you're interested in the Ron Clark Academy. But more importantly, when we see this kind of the group in here, we are encouraged because we know everybody always talking about parents don't care, parents don't do this, parents don't do that. Not y'all. Not today. When they say they're not like us, they talking about y'all. You feel me? You're people who really care, who want to invest, who even taking a risk. We know there are a lot of people applying. You looking to the left, looking to the right. You might not say, oh, that's my competition. No, that's your community. That kind of thing. Because where you go to school, folks, they're only with us or any school. 22% of the time, they're actually awake. 78% of the time, they're with y'all in the neighborhood and the other stuff. So if somebody said 22% of your money gonna go here and 78% going out here, you tell me where it's gonna move the most. So what we try to do in the 22% of the time we have with them is instill things in them that make sure they can carry it with them when they get back to you, and then we need parents to partner. But guess what? The first teacher is the mother or the father anyway. We substitute teachers. So just remember, we would love to partner with you to raise your child and help guide your child and move your child, but we gonna do it with or without. Y'all with me? Yeah. So just know, be encouraged that we're gonna have a great time with these kids today, but we want to make sure you know when they see you, when they come out of this building, they don't need to shake down. Because you know you're gonna say, what they say, who told you this, what you do, look at you, your hair ain't right, you didn't fix your jacket. I know how this goes. My mama would have, man, what? But the point is, it should be the hug, and it should be clapping for them. You should be cheering for them like you never cheered for them, because a lot of them are sitting in that seat for the first time. Some of them didn't even know they were coming today. Y'all know what I'm saying? But I want to make sure you know that when we sit in there with them, they are amazing. Every one of them that I've seen today so far, and the ones I plan on seeing, they are amazing. And a lot of times you can't see where your kid really is. Other people got to see it. Because all you worry about is did they tie the shoes, and did they brush the teeth, and comb the hair. But we seeing them differently. And so they stand up for the stranger sometimes. We appreciate your trust in us, because I know some of y'all were like, you gonna leave my baby here for 3 hours? Some of y'all like, take that joke. And others are like, I ain't never let go of their hand yet. But it's time for them to see it a little bit differently. So even for this moment, even for this hours that they're here with us, everybody gonna grow. So we appreciate y'all. So again, thank you. The Ron Clark experience is about a lot of things, but it wouldn't be possible without a gentleman that I'm introducing right now, the co-founder of the Ron Clark Academy, no other than slide certified himself, Ron Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Lord, this is so weird for me, because for 17 years I did admissions. I was in charge of admissions. I did the interviews, the classes, all the stuff that's going on. But 2 years ago, I started kind of passing it off to different staff members and showing them the process. Then last year, they did most of it. And this year, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just with y'all. Like, I won't even interact with your kids today. I'm not in any of the classes. I'm not doing the sessions, the questions, nothing. So it just feels weird for me. But if your kid don't get in, it ain't my fault this year. I have nothing to do with it. But anyway, I'm excited to have y'all here. And I'm also excited because this is Amazing Shake time for us at RCA. Have any of y'all ever heard of the Amazing Shake? Couple? Okay. So about 16 years ago, I had this idea. I said, we're teaching kids everything in the book. They know all the knowledge and they're so talented. But if kids don't know how to present themselves, to go to an interview, to interact with others, doors will close for them. So I had the staff line up down the hall. I had each kid walk up to a staff member and say their name. Hello, my name is Brad, how are you? Hello, my name is Brad, how are you? And as they went by, the staff members would grade the handshake, the eye contact, the confidence, the poise. And when they got to the end, the card got dropped in a bucket. We tallied up the scores and we announced the top 10 best handshakes in our building. To show you how times have changed, we gave the kid who won a briefcase. So times have changed now. No, you haven't seen a briefcase in years. So anyway, the next year I said, instead of our staff doing the judging, why don't we invite the mayor, vice presidents? Why don't we invite corporate leaders to come be the judges? So they judged the kids. The year after that, I said, instead of it being just a handshake, why don't we do a 60-second interaction where they sit down, it's the vice president of Coca-Cola, and he'll say, so tell me, why should we hire you to work at Coke? They go to the next corner, and a lady has dropped pencils. Now they know I've only got 60 seconds to introduce myself. Do they say, hello, my name is Brad? Or do they say, oh, let me help you with that? And by the way, I'm Brad. Common sense. They go to the next corner. There is a lady in a wedding gown sitting at a table. It's her whole wedding party. They have to give a toast. Can the kids do that? Can they think on their feet? So it turned into this thing that's an obstacle course that we call the gauntlet. And I want to show you all kind of what the gauntlet looks like.
The Amazing Shake is a competition that tests students' confidence, soft skills, interview expertise, and voice under pressure. And today, the competition is live and in full effect.
Round 1 is called the Gauntlet. Currently, 120 students are being tested in various different ways. They're interviewing for a position as the CEO of Twitter, discussing business deals on the golf course, performing a stand-up comedy routine, attending a Japanese tea service, and teaching a disco lesson.
But that's not all. The gauntlet is full of twists, turns, and unique challenges, sure to test the students' ability to think on their feet, remain focused, and be in the top 30.
That's right. Only the top 30 students will move on to round 2. And when those names are announced, there's nothing but pure joy, excitement, and adrenaline in the building.
In short, the experience is nothing short of amazing.
So every kid in the school participates. They all go through the gauntlet. We've kind of made it a sport here, where you train for it. All year long, you're preparing for it. Then the top 30 are taken in vans. They go to a local law firm, but there's a room of 60 lawyers. The kids have to go into the room, and they're in the top 30. They have to work the room, interact with the lawyers. They're getting scored all the while. They keep going from company to company until they get to the finalists. They're flown to New York City that very night. They don't even know if they're going until that night. They fly to New York City. The next morning, they're interviewed by Gayle King on CBS Morning Show. The next night, she takes them to dinner, and she's judging them over dinner. Well, one of the students, if you look here, who's sitting beside me, Dante, he said, he was rooming with Justin. He said, I think I'm gonna give a toast at dinner. I think it'll give me a little extra something. So he's in the mirror in the hotel room practicing his toast. How is he gonna say it? What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? They sit down at dinner, and Justin stands up and goes, I'd like to make a toast. And he's like, you stole my idea. And Justin ends up winning the round. So anyway, the two that win fly back to Atlanta. Then the two that win are in charge of managing a restaurant. They get trained for 5 hours in the afternoon, and they have to manage a restaurant. They actually pick students from RCA they want to be on their team. So one of the finalists with her team, they work the restaurant for 2 hours. Then the other finalists with his team, they work the restaurant. They cook the food, they wash the dishes, they run the register, they bust the tables, they take the orders. Our kids do it, and then we end up having our finalist winner, our Amazing Shake champion. So what we're doing here in this building, I think it really symbolizes for you, we're not only teaching an education, we're teaching life skills, presentation, confidence. This program is actually now spread around the world. It's in all 50 states, so schools in 50 states do it all over the world. And then the winners from all those places come here to this building in March, and they compete to be the global champion. Last year's winner was from Germany, second place was from Canada. So it's something we started here that is spread around the world. It's pretty cool stuff, and it's Amazing Shake season because we're preparing now, it's week after next, so looking forward to that. But you're probably wondering what's gonna happen today. So your students are here, thank you for bringing them. We love y'all, you're all phenomenal parents just because you're here. The students will take a test today, but don't worry if the kid does bad on it, because we have to take, a third of our kids have to be kids who don't do well on the test. A third of the kids can do in the middle, and a third of the kids can do well. We can't take all 30 who do well or all 30 who do poorly. We have a commitment that we do a third, and a third. So if the kid gets in the car and like, I didn't even answer one question. Well, baby, you in that third, you still got a chance. We still in the game here. We're still in that group. They will take a writing sample as well, but it has to be a third of the writing sample as well. They'll spend some time having a snack. We got the Chick-fil-A. They'll be in class playing some games, and the staff will be watching, and there's always at least 2 of our staff members in the room at all times. They'll have some free play in the gym. And then I don't call it an interview because you can't really interview a 3rd grader. Because tell me about yourself, basketball. It's not much of an interview. So we call it just questioning. It'll be 2 staff members with 1 kid. And they're just gonna talk to them for like 3 or 4 minutes. So tell me, what do you like to do? Some stuff like that. 80% of the kids say iPad. I play games on my iPad. Y'all, we gotta get kids off these iPads because that's all they talk about that they wanna do. And we have to get them back to outdoors and play and interaction with humans. So anyway, so that's what's gonna happen today. After today, you will get a notification by the beginning of March. You'll get 1 of 3 notifications. You get number 1, which says, it's not a fit, but thank you for applying. And if you get that's it. There's no change in the mind. Number 2, you might get a notification your kid made it. Or number 3, you might get a notification that says, the committee would like for your child to come back and spend a day at our school or half a day to be in our classes so we can kind of get to know the child a little bit better. So one of those 3 things will happen. This year we have 39 siblings applying, and we'll probably take 30 students. So we have 39 of our current students and our alumni's siblings applying. 39. We can't take all of them. And we have a commitment to all of Atlanta, and so we can't take those siblings because if we did, we would be letting all of Atlanta down. I'm sure we will have some siblings, but some siblings will not make it. We have a rubric, a scoring rubric, and we stick to it. My niece applied last year. I bugged my family. I'm embarrassed if she doesn't come. We gotta apply. How to look if she doesn't apply? She's gotta come. They come, she applies, she missed it by 2 points. And I'm looking at Junior Vernon, he's on our team, and he's like, I know you're fudging them scores. And I was like, I'm not touching it. And she didn't come. Thanksgiving was not fun this year. So we had a man apply, a family. He's so wealthy, he could pay for the whole school, everything. His daughter applied. I was like, please let this child make it. Please let this child make it. Let's go. She missed it, and that was it. We've had staff members' kids apply. It didn't make it. We said, that's it. It happens with siblings. And so it is what it is. We don't have a waiting list. If you get the notification, just it is what it is. We ask that you not do this. Don't go home every night and be like, baby, let's pray. You got to get, that's just your last chance. You got to get in that school. You pray, but don't bug your kid about it. To your kid, be like this. Oh, if you get in, you get in. Who knows? I don't even know when they're going to, we'll find out someday. Just act like it's no big deal, because if you're stressed out about it, they get stressed out, then parents send us an email. You've devastated my child. We prayed every night. We did a wish board, and this is what we put on the, I'm like, oh Lord, then it feels horrible. So just kind of manage expectations. So I want to turn it over to you now for a moment to see, do you have any questions about what is happening today? What is going on today? Any questions about today or this process? Yes? What are they tested on? It's basic 3rd grade level math, reading. It's basic 3rd grade level stuff that at this point of the year, a 3rd grader probably would have been exposed to. It's not something that's hard. And the test, there's 40 questions. The first 10 are like 1st, 2nd grade level questions. So everybody should be able to get through them, most of them. Then it gets progressively harder. And once they get the scores, the kids get tracked into one of 3 categories. Yes? The writing sample is timed, but they all finish in 2 minutes. I'm done. They're all done. They're all done. But, you have plenty of time. Take your time. I'm done. So, yep. I don't know what the prompt is this year, but it's something like, tell me about a time you had fun. Tell me about something you like to do outside. It's something simple, and then they just write about it. But they'll write 1 sentence, and they'll be done. They're 3rd graders. Yep. During the free play, so they're in the gym, there's jump ropes, there's balls, there's frisbees, They can just sit, there's books, it's anything they want to do during that time. It's just a time this was stressful, let me just have some fun, basketball or whatever they want to do. Yes? We don't share the rubric because if we did, y'all would be home with a calculator. How are we going to, well, what can we do? Oh, say this in the interview because this will da-da-da-da-da. So we don't do that. Yeah. One thing I will say is that a lot of times when I was in charge of it, there would be kids who would almost make it, and their tardies score from their previous school would bump kids out. So you can't have tardies at your school because this is the Harvard of middle schools. We're trying to be really challenging academically. If you can't get your kid here at 8 o'clock, that's a problem because we start our classes at 8 o'clock. Not one teacher in this building sits down. Not one teacher's handing out worksheets. At 8 o'clock, boom, let's go. We're ready to go. We're teaching and it's hard. And you can't come in 15 minutes late. So tardies could hurt. A lot of unexcused absences, that could hurt. So if you got something, but our house burnt down, maybe you should email that now and go ahead and get them to add that to the file if you had something like that happen. Yes? What are the expectations for the kids now? Not a whole lot, because third graders are like, they're just third graders. They're young. And so the team, they're trying to get to know them. What I would do is I would try to find out how would their friends describe them and what makes them tick and what things are they interested in. Because we want to have a well-rounded class. I want to have a kid who likes cheerleading. I want to have a kid who loves art. I want to have a kid who's like, I don't know what I like yet. I want a kid who has no interest other than the iPad. I want to have a kid who might like football. I want to have a kid who likes science. We are trying to build a class of all different types of kids. We don't want all smart, all low, all discipline problems, all well-behaved. We don't want anything. We try to blend it all in. So we have lots of different things. Yes?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What do you have in place for children with neurodivergent brain?
Excuse me?
What do you have in place for kids with neurodivergent brain?
So we do have some kids here who have 504 plans. We have some kids who learn differently. So that does happen here. If you have a kid who is in a one-on-one situation at their current school, this is probably not going to be the school for that kid. It depends on how severe their issues are. But we rarely have ever taken a kid that's in a one-on-one situation or a small group situation in special education. If they're there getting serviced, because here our philosophy, we have 30 kids all in the same class, and we're teaching to the brightest kid in the classroom and trying to get all the kids up to that level. We do have kids here on 504s, we do meetings, we have some accommodations, and sometimes modifications, rarely. But our goal is we're teaching to the brightest. So what's gonna happen in a moment is that I'm gonna go through a session with you. I'm gonna show you all about RCA, then I'm gonna turn it over to you for questions that you may have. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna release. Y'all gotta leave the premises. Can't wander around the school, don't hide in the bathroom. We're gonna go this way, you're gonna go across the street, you can wait in your car if you want for a little bit, or you can go to the Chick-fil-A or something. And then this session is over at
7:45.
7:45, so at 7:45, we will actually take the kids outside and walk them across the street to you. Okay? Yeah, sure. How's the curriculum structured? So we actually wrote our own curriculum, so we designed it ourselves, but it's hard. You have applied for your kid to come to the Harvard of middle schools. Don't apply for your kid to come here and then in September email me you're upset because it's hard. I mean, it's a hard school. There's gonna be nights you're gonna be up at midnight with your child at the table. If you don't wanna spend any nights up till midnight with your child at the kitchen table trying to help them struggle through something, let somebody else have this opportunity. This is an academically challenging place. Yes?
Based on the other test scores that we tested today and we're going to pick, would that determine the house area? Are you going to pick that?
Mm-hmm. She said, will the test scores determine the house? No, the wheel decides. The wheel decides the house. So we have a house system. Back in 1999, I read that J.K. Rowling book, The Harry Potter. So we have a house system here. The kids come in on the first day. They go up to the big wheel. They'll say, my name is Casey Bacon, and I want to be in the red house because I'm everyone's friend. They spin the wheel that has the 4 houses. They run up the stairs, they come shooting down the slides. When they come out, the confetti and the color of that house goes off. Like the 8th graders in the red house, if you land in the red house, pick the kid up, throw them in the air, like, oh, I'm your big brother now. You're in my family, I want to take care of you. The parents are in houses, the kids are in houses, we're all bonded together. Now, if your kid is lucky, he's gonna land in the blue house. That's the house I'm in. R-E-V-E-U-R. So revere means to dream. So if your kid lands in revere, that means they're a dreamer. And they're a wolf. Har! Oh! We howl at the moon. You'll see the kids in revere going, revere. We're a wolf pack. So that's revere. Or the kid can land in Amistad. A-M-I-S-T-A-D. Who are we? You know who we are. Where there has to be. A-M-I. Amistad means friendship and love. So it means like your kid has friends, they love others, they care about people. Or your child could be in the greenhouse of Isabindi. I-S-I-B-I-N-D-I. That is how we S-T-A-Y. Whoop, Bindi, whoop, Bindi, whoop, Bindi, whoop. Isabindi is a Zulu word. It is based off of Shaka Zulu's axe and the African ebony tree. It means bravery. So like, are you the defender of your friends and family? Will you speak up for others that don't have a voice? So your child has the amazing opportunity to land in any one of those 3 outstanding houses. Why are you laughing? The 4th house? If we must. There is the 4th. Your child could have the great misfortune of landing in the black house. But no one likes the black house. They win everything. They get on my nerves. They win most of our valedictorians, the students of the year, the athletes of the year. The wheel is just random, but a lot of them land in altruismo. They're the snakes. They hiss in the school. They have this song they sing. A-L-T-R-U-I-S-M-O. Altruismo, do you know what that means? We got our own house. We got our own sign. Work hard, give hard. We're the best house. If you with us, stand up. If you with us, stand up. I don't like them. But they tend to be like MVP type, loud, boisterous, competitive types of people. But whatever house your kid lands in, you in that house too. And now if your child lands in Amistad, you're called an Ami Mommy or an Ami Poppy. And Ami Mommies, you get a red fan, and all the Ami Mommies stick together, and at the graduation, the musical, the basketball game, they pop their fans, and they're all together, and they're in unison, and they pop their fans. I don't like them either. So it's part of our climate and culture here. We have basketball games where parents in one house play parents in another house. Kickball games, we have bingo that's in houses. It's part of our climate and culture. Yes, ma'am. So she said, so I've been following your school, but what if my child doesn't get in here? How can I find another school? She said, another school that uses our house system. There's a lot of them in Atlanta. So I think I would Google Atlanta schools, Ron Clark house system, Atlanta schools, amazing shake, and it would come up. I know College Park Elementary, they do our house system. They do it really beautifully. But there's lots of schools all over. What is that school in Decatur that is so amazing?
Museum school.
Museum school.
That ECM school. What is the one that, maybe they are too, but I'm not as familiar with them. It's
museum.
Not the museum school. I don't know, but there's lots of them. And also, if you follow our Ron Clark pages, we tend to post when other schools are doing things in the area as well. Any other questions about this? Yes. Okay, our calendar is a little bit different from APS and from Cobb County. Like for example, for Easter, we have 2 weeks off. So there's some differences. Sometimes it's perfect and sometimes it's a little bit off. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this little session about who we are and what we do. Then I'm gonna take questions again. So if you think of something else you wanna know, just let me know. But this is what our school used to be. This is nasty old factory in the middle of nowhere. I started my teaching career in North Carolina. I'm from the country. Y'all can tell in the open my mouth the tractor falls out. I'm from the middle of the dirt road. I'm the only one in my family on both sides to ever go to college. When I graduated, a teacher at a local school passed away, and so I went to this school to teach. Didn't know what I was doing. It was a mess, all kinds of discipline problems. So I started eating lunch with the kids and eat lunch with the discipline problems because they're funny at lunch. So I'd eat lunch with them, bond with them. The kids didn't want to do my math work, so I gave them balloons. They could work out the math problems on the balloons with a magic marker. If they got it right, they could sit on it and pop it. The kids said my history questions were so hard, so I had my little container of sunglasses. So when it got hard, I said, y'all, we just gotta be detectives. I pop up my sunglasses, they put on the sunglasses, I'll play the Mission Impossible music. Dun, 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 dun. I said, all right, detectives, can anyone figure out how we can start here? Why do you think the colonists would have made that decision? Anyone have a clue? So we would be detectives for a few minutes, solve the problem, I put them up. Then the kids would say, we like Mr. Clark's class because if it gets hard, we just get to be detectives. And I was like, it's just such a little tiny thing. I was teaching about World War I and World War II. And I said, y'all, who can tell me the differences or the similarities of World War I and World War II on this Venn diagram? And the kids were like this. I said, anybody? I said, all right, y'all, repeat after me. World War I. They're like, World War I. And I was like, 1914 to 1918. World War II. They're like, World War II. And I was like, 1939 to 1945. No response from the kids. But the next day I was eating lunch with the students in the cafeteria. At the end of the table, I heard 1914 to 9. I was like, oh, my son! They're doing my son! And so little things like that. There's this girl named Antoinette. Antoinette was a discipline problem. Ooh, she was a handful. And whenever I did math class, she would get really, really rude. I said, maybe she's just not good at math. I said, Antoinette, at lunch, I said, what's 9 times 9 times 9? She said, I don't know. I said, let's work it out. I said, oh, look, it's 729. 729. 9 times 9 times 9 is, and she said, 729. I said, see if you can remember it till tomorrow morning. The next morning, I said, Antoinette, come here. What's 9 times 9 times 9? She said, 729. I said, I'm going to ask that question in class. Ain't nobody going to know it. But if you pay attention, constipate, you're going to be the only one to know it. I said, you're going to look some kind of smart. So I go to teach, and this is Antoinette. I said, no one's going to know the answer to this question. It's too hard. Anybody know what this is? 9 times 9 times 9. And she said,
729.
I said, oh, Antoinette, you my valedictorian. You so kind of smart, girl. Oh, you know, she got a good math mind. After class, she went out to me and said, I said, of course. So I started throwing her answers here and there. In class, she was being more respectful. So I did little things like that. At the end of the year, I had the highest test scores in the county. And we were the poor school. We were the south side of the river. We never had the good scores. And the principal said, we've never had the top scores for a grade before. What did you do? I said, well, I baked the kids cookies. I went to visit the homes of the parents. She's like, well, that sounds great. Well, sometimes we get lucky. Well, the next year, I had the highest scores 2 years in a row with a different group of kids. And she said, Mr. Clark, sit down. What are you doing? How are you doing this? So I told her all my little tricks. But then I said something to her when I said this to her, which I'm about to tell you. She said, that's why you have high test scores. And this is what I was doing. In my class, I had struggling learners, learning disabilities, average kids, pretty good kids, and some gifted kids. I said, how am I supposed to teach all these kids at the same time? And I was told, teach to the middle, hit them all the best you can. Here's what I found. When you teach to the middle, the kids with struggles, their test scores will grow a little bit. The middle kids' scores don't move. The gifted kids are going to be at 90th percentile, but they would be there even if they didn't come to the school. You don't own that score. They're already going to be in the 90th percentile. They got to be 99s for you to claim that. And so I changed my whole philosophy and I said, I'm going to teach to my gifted kid. I'm going to push my gifted kid every day. My questioning, my lesson plans, because we're not challenging gifted kids. But then I'm going to hold every single one of these kids. I believe in you. You can get there. Now, I might have to take a different road, different methods. I'm going to have to blow up a lot of balloons. But we're going to all get there because I believe you can. And because my expectations were high, it increased for everybody. So if you're sitting here and you know your kid's smart, your kid on the honor roll, your kid makes all A's, don't be sitting there thinking, oh, my kid's going to kill it at this school. Because however smart your kid is, I'm going to challenge your child till they cry. My goal is I want them kind of drowning. Now, I don't want them defeated and drowned on the bottom of the ocean. But I want your kid to be like, this is hard. And the reason why is because we are raising a coddled, wussified generation of kids where everything... Let me feel y'all clapping now. Lord. See? Because we're raising these coddled, wussified children. Everything right now is about everyone's feelings, making sure everyone feels good about themselves. We're filling these kids with hollow self-esteem. We're telling them, oh, you're all geniuses. You're all wonderful. I ain't playing that. I'm not playing it here. Here, you're going to have to work hard to excel to get up to a certain level. I'm going to push these kids. Now, every kid can't be on the honor roll probably, but every kid can work their hardest. I'm trying to prepare them for the real world. And that's what we do here in this building. And the reason why, did y'all know the United States is ranked 41st in the world in math and science test scores? This is embarrassing. All these other countries are ahead of us. Did y'all see DeepSeek came out this week? Anyone hear about it? So we had OpenAI, OpenAI ChatGPT. Y'all heard about it? We were like, oh, America got ChatGPT. We're leading the world in AI. But it's kind of like when we used to have were y'all young enough that when we used to have the nuclear bomb drills and you had to get under the desk? Are any of you old enough to remember that? I used to wonder, what this desk gonna do if it's the nuclear bomb? But anyway, so we had a nuclear arms race. We also had a space race. Right now we are in the artificial intelligence race. And we're behind because China just released DeepSeek, which in terms of artificial intelligence is 10 times better than anything we've created in America. Cheaper, better, faster. That's what happens when you're 41st in the world in math and science. Did y'all see Putin? Putin sent them bombs across into the Ukraine that got wings attached to them. Y'all see the Harry Potter movie? He done built the golden snitch. And our military said we're gonna have to shoot these down to see how this works. We don't understand this technology. The drones flying all over. We don't know what is wrong. That's what happens when you're 41st in the world. Now we're 29th in the world in ELA and English. There are countries that English is not their native tongue. It's not their first language. They score better than our kids in English. And now we have this coddled, wussified generation where instead of challenging kids, everyone's feelings, don't hurt anyone's feelings. If you put your kid in this school, you have gone back in time to 1980. The discipline, the respect, the trust for teachers, the old-fashioned values. This is what we're doing here. If I give your kid a 68, it's a 68. If this project comes in as a 68, don't come in here and say, Mr. Clark, at least it's an 85. Look, I did have this myself. It's a 68. If I give your kid a detention, it's a detention. I don't want to hear from you. If one of my staff members sees your kid do something and sends them a detention, your response should be this. Can you give me more details so that I'll know how much more punishment I should give at home? You don't question us. You don't call another parent and say, could you ask your kid if he saw my kid? Was my kid really talking? What really happened? You trust us. This is 1980s school where you respect the teachers, we respect each other, and we're challenging kids. And in this goal of trying to get these kids up here, there's a lot of joy, a lot of love, but then also my grandmama comes out my mouth sometimes. I'm like, I ain't playing with you right now. This is not your best. You better get to work. And when you come in tomorrow, this is going to be right and clear. If you don't want me to talk to your child like that, if you don't want my staff to be like, this is not your best self, you're going to get it together. If you don't want someone to talk to your kid like that, keep them where they are. Don't waste our time. Don't come. Let somebody else, because there's somebody in this room right now who's like, get them. Get my baby. Push my baby. I want my baby. Last year's 8th graders got $6 million in scholarships. $6 million in scholarships. That's because we love them, it's exciting, it's passionate, and I'm not playing with you right now. If you don't want that happening, don't send your child here. Years ago, our soccer coach said, Mr. Clark, instead of getting the MVP, the trophy, I'm gonna just get every little kid a little medal. And I said, no, just get the MVP. This is capitalism. We gotta teach these kids the one who works the hardest gets the trophy. He said, Mr. Clark, I don't wanna deal with these parents. Can I just get everyone a little medal? Because parents, y'all the worst. Because as soon as somebody gets the MVP trophy and ain't your child, the parents are like, oh my God, come on. You know what? You are the real MVP. It's just favoritism. I'm going to go to Walmart. Let's buy you a trophy. Y'all the worst. The philosophy here is that when a kid does well, you all celebrate every kid. If you come to this school, it's like every kid in this school is your kid. And you cheer and you celebrate all of them. You can't be like that. This is capitalism. And if your kid does say to you, Mama, why didn't I get a trophy? You ain't MVP. Get in the car. Get in the car. You ain't MVP. That's what you should say. That's what we need from you. And if we all do this, we're going to take these kids to the moon. You know, for 17 years, 100% of our kids have graduated high school. We have 91% of our kids in college, and they go to Duke, and they're at Harvard, and Yale, and Morehouse, and Spelman, and Georgia Tech, and they're the student government president, and they're thriving, and they're killing it. That doesn't happen if you just tell them all they're great. There's a push and a challenge. We're trying to get you somewhere. Let's go. So that factory, when I was in North Carolina, I had a dream for it. I wanted to build a school to show everyone what I was thinking. I got invited to the White House 3 different years in North Carolina because of the test score growth and the thing we did there. And then I saw a TV show about schools in Harlem that had violence and overcrowded classrooms. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go up to Harlem. I'm going to go teach at that school in Harlem. I'm going to go teach at one of those schools in Harlem. I'm going to go teach there. I got to go to Harlem and teach at that school because nobody else wants to teach there. Y'all heard about the Wrong Heart story? So they made this movie about my teaching experiences in Harlem. You can watch it on Netflix, but it's free on the YouTube. And so I had a class of 37 kids, and not one kid was on grade level. They all had discipline referral folders, and I did the same thing we do here. I talked to the brightest kid, and I fired all the kids that would get that level, had the highest test scores in the district. It's all over the news. I was named the American Teacher of the Year. Got to go on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Oprah said, you should write a book. So I wrote a book called The Essential 55. Now, my grandmama raised me. Now, she never wrote down the rules, but I knew her rules. She told me every day at lunch, you'll be the last person to eat. You're going to hold the door for all your classmates. And I said, well, that's not fair. She said, you're going to be first here and here. You're the bigger person. And if someone drops something, you break your knees to pick it up. You be the first one to drop it and you hand it back to them. You clap for other people. You say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You show courtesy to people. Old Southern manners. That's what we have in this building. So when Oprah told me to write a book, that's what I wrote the book about. She made it one of her book picks. I got to go back on the Oprah show. And she said, America, I want you to go out right now and buy this book. And then she held it close to her. Y'all know when Oprah holds something up on top of her bosom, that's all it takes. 1 hour after the show, it was #2 in the nation behind one of them Harry Potter books. And so I had this idea. I said, now I can build a school to show people what I'm trying to explain, this revolution. I called Kim Bearden because she was the American Middle School Teacher of the Year. I said, Kim, you're the best teacher in America. Come move to Harlem and help me start a school. She said, my family's in Atlanta, but if you come here, I'll consider it. And that's when we found this old factory. There were crack houses on both sides, streetwalkers in front of it, and I said, this is it. This is going to be the school. And that's the building you're in right now. That's the building. We've turned this into this amazing school. It's incredible. It was hard. We were supposed to open in 2006. Nobody would give us donations. I thought we'd go to Coca-Cola and they'd give us $1 million. They gave us $1,000. I was like, I drink $1,000 of Coke. What are we doing here? So I made a little wedding registry type book where I said to everybody, will you sponsor a kid's backpack? Will you sponsor a kid's desk? The front door, carpet for a classroom. It took us 3 years of begging door to door all over Atlanta. Eventually we opened the building, and eventually we built and added on to it. And so, but what are we doing here at our school? First off, we're known for our engagement. Our classrooms, our teachers, like I said, they don't sit down. We don't even have desks in our classroom. It's high energy, it's passionate. Every moment there's something going on. We don't give worksheets. It's not wasted busy time. It's excitement by these teachers who are the best in the field. Like that's Dr. Jones. She got her doctorate from Columbia. I mean, just genius individuals. This engagement, this is what you get when you drop your kid off here in the morning. Our climate and culture, you heard about our house system. This is a kid going up to spin the wheel. The house system is one of the ways that we build our climate and culture here. This is a kid who just got sorted into the blue house. This excitement, this joy. If you're gonna make it hard, you can't just make it hard. You make it hard and lift everyone up with the environment to get to that level. Did y'all see that when you came into the gym? So we do it pretty much every year, every other year. 98% of the parents at our school, when they walk in and see it, they do this. oh my God, I'm so happy for those kids. Isn't that awesome? 2% of the parents would be like, I got a kid. Why ain't my kid up there? I guess my kid ain't a favorite. If you have that type of mentality, don't come. Please don't take someone else's spot at this school. Our philosophy is you cheer for every other kid. You're happy. That's a lesson for you to teach your own kid. Be happy when others do well. If you lift other people up you're around, you pull yourself up. You put people around you down, you pull yourself down. Be happy. Our staff, they sit in a room and they say, who should get it? Who should be up there? He's the head of the basketball team. She does this for cheerleaders. And some parents say, well, my kid's the head of the Model UN team. He didn't get picked. It's because he got 3 detentions this week. He's getting on our nerves. I don't want to see his big old face up there. Get on our nerves. No. So also, we try to be very innovative here. We have all different types of technology that we use and innovation, and the slides symbolize that. We say, instead of taking the stairs at our school, we always challenge ourselves, take a slide, go on a path no one else has ever been. Really be bold, be unique. That's what we try to do. We encourage our kids to have that philosophy too. Innovation is important. Parent support, check this out. This is our first day at school. The parents make signs and they line up down the street and they're cheering on the first day of school. If you ain't good at arts and crafts, and if you don't want to make this sign, don't come. Let somebody else, because there's somebody in this room right here who'd be like, I made 5 signs. If you don't really want to stay up late making a sign, please don't come. Because the way this works is we all come together. If you don't feel like doing it, don't come. Okay? Look at these parents. The parents here are awesome. Positive, supportive, trusting, loving. These with the crazy fans, you see the Amish-style moms. And then we have something called the Men of RCAP. Last year, our parents gave a little over 8,000 volunteer hours in our school. 8,000. Each of you, we expect you to do 40 hours of service in our school this year, volunteering. We want you here as much as possible. Right now, this year, the male family members have given 45% of the volunteer hours. Their goal is to catch up and beat the mamas. Because in our building, the men come, the men show up. This isn't where, oh, I let the wife go to the PTA meeting, the wife handles this. No, it's you. The men are the heartbeat of this school. We have these men, these are our leaders in RCAP. They're incredible. They show up, they volunteer, they have meetings on their own, they have parties. The men, they are a strong organization. I have some kids here who don't have dads. There's no dad in the home. Y'all will become kind of the dads of everybody. It's simple. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't have a husband, but I have a granddad, love it. I have a next door neighbor, love it. I have a brother, love it. Just males, we want them in the building. Here's what I told you, we do the kickball games by houses, the parents that come on the first day of school for the celebration, the basketball tournaments. Parents here all the time, they come to the bingo, and you gotta come to the basketball game. There's about 10 a year. Now, if you don't wanna come on Friday night to the basketball game, don't come to our school. Let somebody else come. Because your kid may not make the basketball team, and your child may not be a cheerleader, but every kid in the school, they're all your kids. And you cheer as if it is your kid. And we all come, and every seat's taken. It's my dream. Sometimes I'll be at a game and there's empty seats and parents don't stand up, and I'll see a parent sitting there and I'm like, come on, let's cheer everybody. And the parent will do this, and I'm thinking, they shouldn't have come. Why did they come? I wish we hadn't picked that one. If we're gonna be here, let's be here. If we're gonna be part of something great, let's all be part of something great. That's the whole philosophy. So also, we have several clubs. Y'all might have heard, we have an amazing step team. They're 7-time national champions. They're about to go to Houston to compete for their 8th national title. Our Lego robotics team won regionals last year. Model UN won the state tournament. We have an outstanding drum line. The band is phenomenal. Every kid in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we give an instrument. Every kid in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade gets an instrument. We give it to them. They have band every day. Our cheerleaders are supreme. We have track, and we're about to start next month lacrosse. So we have lacrosse here. It's great. We do an outstanding musical, phenomenal musical. You should come see it. It's beautiful. Lots of clubs and activities, and we travel abroad. Now, we take our kids lots of places. Like this year, the 8th graders, they went to Japan. They live with host families. They're about to go to South Africa. We have been to South Africa every year except for COVID since 2007. Our 7th graders went to Barcelona, London. You want to walk? Thank you, sweet. Barcelona, London, Paris. Our 6th graders were in New York City, 5th graders, DC. The 4th graders, they go into the Callaway Garden. So don't worry about us taking you a 4th grader anywhere. We start small, and then once we get comfortable, we progress and we build up into it. But the travel is integrated into our curriculum, and our trips are life-changing trips, life-changing experiences. Also, we train educators here. Our goal is not only to raise our kids' test scores, we show other schools how to do it as well. For example, yesterday there were 600 educators in this building from all 50 states watching, learning to see what we do, and then they go back and they replicate it. So we are trying, like to your point, where are these other schools? Every week, almost, we're training people and showing them how to do it and take it back to their schools. We ask you as parents, please come volunteer, please come help us. We need you here all the time, helping and working if you can. That's our EXP. 90% of our school's funding, how do we pay for everything? It comes from when educators come to visit here. That's the main way. Okay? We have high expectations, like I said, for every kid. We challenge every kid to be their best self, and kids can win an RCA jacket. You can earn an RCA jacket if you get a vote of yes from every staff member in this building. Every staff member has to say yes. Well, on Fridays, when we're about to leave, we have our big pep rally. We say, bye everybody. The parents are there, the kids, and sometimes I'll go, it's a Coke day. People start crying, snot drips to the floor. Parents are screaming because they know a kid's gonna get a Coke. We announce the kid's name, the kid comes up, they get their RCA jacket. For some kids, it takes years to earn it. You can't buy the jacket. Kid got attacked by a parent one time in the parking lot. The parent said, what I gotta do to get this jacket? And Kim said, the kid has to earn it. She said, how much you gotta pay for this jacket? $900? And Kim said, the kid has to earn the jacket. We have a saying here, not everyone deserves a cookie. You have to earn it. Okay? And then the last thing, I think the heartbeat of our school is our faculty. They're incredible, beautiful people. We ain't perfect, but we try. You can't say we don't work hard. We're here all the time. We work really, really, really hard. And I'm gonna tell you really briefly who some of the people are who your child will be interacting with if they came here. First of all, I mentioned Kim Bearden. Now, she's a Milken Award winner. She's the executive director of RCA. She is phenomenal. She just ELA here for 4th grade. She's the whole reason why the school's in Atlanta. Because I moved here because she is absolutely so spectacular. Mr. Reagan, you got it, sir? Thank you, buddy. That's Kim Bearden. So Kim's awesome, so I want to make sure that you see who Kim is. She is wonderful. She's the smartest of all of us. And she is one to be respected. She's phenomenal. There she is. There's Kim. Also, we have Mr. Corey Collins, and Mr. Corey Collins is probably the best reading teacher in America. All the kids love him. He goes around the nation to show other schools how to be better at reading, so he's phenomenal. He'll be your child's teacher. Mr. Michael Bonner, he's Ellen DeGeneres' favorite teacher. He was on her show several times. He does ELA and social studies. We have Mr. Kirk Brown. Mr. Brown is our Chief Development and Communications Officer. He works to pull companies in Atlanta into our school to help support us. He's phenomenal. Also, Mr. Troy Kemp, who you met earlier. Not only does he do admissions, but he's the former head of the National Center for the Development of Boys. He knows a lot about how to reach boys and help boys be successful. Mr. Junior Bernardin is our Dean of Students. He's also a Presidential Award winner for STEM mentoring for the whole nation. He's outstanding. Dr. Valerie Camille Jones, I told you earlier, she got her doctorate from Columbia. She's the head of our math department. She does 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math. She is a genius. Ms. Susan Barnes has been here since 2008. She teaches art, but she weaves culture and art together in a beautiful way. Pam Haskins does social studies in ELA for 7th and 8th graders, but she also writes curriculum that other schools use across the nation. The head of our science department is Daniel Thompson. He's also the head of our Lego robotics team that wins all the awards. Lower grades, 4th and 5th grade science is Mr. Sir Princeton Harden. He loves to blow stuff up, so the kids love that. We have Ms. C.J. Wallace, who does art, and she's absolutely outstanding at it. And then the person who's in charge of our band program is Paula Williams. And like I said, every kid gets an instrument. They're in band every day, and she's just a vital part of our school, who are what we do. And then Mr. Ben Walker is in charge of physical education, and he's a spark plug, y'all. Incredible guy, great mentor, outstanding man. So now, I'm gonna turn it over to y'all. Any questions that you have about RCA, our school, what we do, now is your time. Yes?
I have 2 questions. My rigorous? Like, can we reach out to the teachers for tutoring, or will we have to hire somebody else?
It's a good question. She said, I know you said it's really rigorous. Do we reach out to the teachers to ask them to tutor our child? We have a policy here. If you ask us to tutor your child, we'll say no. If your kid asks for tutoring, we'll say yes. So, because we found when mama wants tutoring, tutoring doesn't work. When the kid gets to a point where he asks for the tutoring, and you might have to scare him into asking, but when the kid asks for tutoring, then we tutor. I tutor every day at lunch, we tutor after school, we tutor before school, we do Zoom tutoring. We have nights where we bring you in and we teach you how to tutor your own kid. We have math nights, so we all kind of work together in the process. I have videos I make. I make Ed Puzzle videos that go along with my curriculum I teach. I do 5th grade math, 6th and 7th grade history. So you have these videos. So parents will say to me, Mr. Clark, would you please tutor my child? Well, he hasn't asked. Mr. Clark, he's shy. Would you please tutor him? And I said, well, he's not even watching my videos. The little videos, little tutoring videos will help. Mr. Clark, he said you talk so fast. He could put me on slow-mo on the video. Mr. Clark, I don't know how to help my son. Can you press play on the video? Somebody gonna watch the videos. So we have lots of resources, but step one is your kid has to want it, and step two, you have to do your part as well. Yes. Okay. She said, do you provide before and after school care, and do you provide scholarships? You can drop your child off as early as 7:15. Not 7:14, the doors are closed. Don't leave them on the side of the road in this neighborhood. 7:15, you can drop them off, they come right on in. School starts at 8 o'clock. We don't have worksheets or sit down time or homeroom. At 8 o'clock, I'm teaching my lesson, and it's hard and we're going fast. Your child can't come in at 8:05. That's why I said, if you have tardies at your current school, it's a bad look. The committee's gonna be like, what in the world? Because we don't like kids to come in late. You got to be on time. So you got to be on time, you got to be here by 8 o'clock and in the seat. School day ends at 3:30. So you can pick your kid up at 3:30, or you can leave your kid to 4:30, and your kid can go to STEP Team or Model UN or Lego Robotics or Girls Who Code or all those different types of programs, or study hall. Or your kid can stay till 5:30, but then you got to come on and get them. No, we don't want no later than that. So 5:30 is the last time that you can get your kid. She said, is there a scholarship? It's a sliding scale. It's on the website. You can check it. It'll show you how much you're going to pay. I think if it's, I don't want to speak wrong, but if you make around $70,000 or so in your household, I think you're paying $45 a month for your kid to be here. We even get the boys' haircuts. We give you 5 sets of uniforms, so you only have to do laundry once a week. We're very mindful, very cutesy, very demure. So it covers all the travel, the trips to Egypt, the trips, everything's included in that $45 a month. If you make more than that, the amount you pay increases based on how much that you make. How do we communicate with parents about where your kids are academically? Do you have Power School at your current school? Yeah, we have Power School, so basically you can pull it up and you can see all your kids' grades. You can see how they're doing right there. The grades when grades get entered. So you can see by tracking Power School. But we're kind of a small, close-knit community. We're always talking, always at the game. So you got to come to the basketball game. We're always talking at volunteer times. We're always here, communicating, texting. What kind of assessments? We do the MAP test now. We've done Stanford 10, Iowa test of basic standards. We've tried it all. The biggest indicator of our success is that in 8th grade, our kids have to take a test called the SSAT to get into boarding schools or other scholarship opportunities, and that's the test that our kids really kill it on. Yes?
The process of getting promoted or moving forward, like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, is it a registration for?
Once you're in, you're in. So you don't have to apply again. Once you're in 4th grade, you're in the school. You don't have to worry about going through registration again. Yes? Give me an example of a video. Or like when the kid's going, had a dream, buy some dogs, repping big for UGA. So I don't know exactly how that video got started, but sometimes kids have ideas for videos and then we film it. Sometimes a staff member will have an idea for a video We see who wants to do it. Sometimes they have auditions. So I think it's kind of a mix. Yes. Track is for 4th through 8th grade. So 4th through 8th grade can do track. We only do 3 track meets a year though. So you can 4th through 8th grade track. Basketball, we have a JV team, 5th and 6th graders, and then a varsity 7th and 8th graders, and sometimes the 5th and 6th graders can also play on varsity. Girls, 5th through 8th graders can play on the team. I think sometimes the 4th grade girls might practice with them. Yes?
What does your Latin credo mean?
Yeah, it means out of knowledge you get power. So all over the nation, the whole idea is you gotta pass a test score, Here we tell our kids, when you are smart, when you have knowledge, when you have an education, you'll see the world with different eyes. I tell the kids, you're gonna be in love one day. You're gonna go to meet the person you love's parents. You're gonna go to a dinner. You're gonna be nervous. I want you to be able to have a deep conversation, confident conversation. I want you to have a colorful tapestry of things to talk about. That's what you get with an educated mind. When you read a book, I want you to understand the references. When you see the movie, there's so much going on in that movie other than what you're looking at. I want you to understand these references. I want you to understand the depth. I want you to have power to uplift your family, to solve a community problem. That's why we get an education, and that's why we're here. I tell my teachers, you will never say to these kids, this might be on the end of grade test. We don't do that because we're trying to let these kids know you're here because an educated mind is powerful, not because you want to pass a test score. Yes? Okay. She said, once they're an alumni, once they leave in 8th grade, what are the opportunities? Well, we have a lot. We stay in contact with every alumni. We have a strong alumni association, very, very powerful. We send care packages every year. Miss Membry is really wonderful. She actually gives scholarships to several of our alumni when they're seniors in high school. They pay for their full college tuition, which is pretty incredible. We have an organization where it's called CNON, where CEOs all over Atlanta, they will allow your kid, they'll sponsor your kid, give your kid $3,500 a semester, and then they mentor them and sponsor them. We have something called the GAP Scholarship Fund because we had a situation 7 years ago. We had a kid at Princeton who called me and said, Mr. Clark, I'm gonna have to take off a semester and work at Wendy's to pay for my books. And I said, you're on full scholarship. You have book money. He said, I used my book money to fly home to see my mom. She was sick. I'm gonna take a semester off and work at Wendy's. He said, no, you're not. I said, I'll pay for the books. And I was talking to Kim, and she said, I just had to pay for somebody's tuition. And then Kirk Brown said, I paid somebody's rent. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this. Because we'll never have anything if we have hundreds of alumni we're having to take care of. So now we have a GAP scholarship fund where if your child's in college and they have a need or they have a concern, they can contact, and we have this little bucket that we can pull from. Coca-Cola just deposited $250,000 in that bucket. So we have funds. So there's lots of things we do. We actually have a person on staff who her whole job is just to coordinate with alumni. We find resources, jobs, internships. So when you leave here, you're still part of this network and this family for a long time. Yes? She said, well, what if a parent doesn't know how to do the math? Or what if a parent doesn't understand how to do something? How could a parent help? When I give my tutoring night and I bring you in, I'm gonna say this to you. Here's the answer key, okay? And here's the test. Go home and give your kid the test, and you can grade it and you can see how the kid's gonna do next week. I want you to have that kid bring that test back to class and say, I need help with 7, 9, and 12. So you're just making sure they do the practice test, you're putting the grade on it with the answer key. The kid brings it back to me, then I will teach them in class. But you gotta do your part, I'll do my part. And sometimes I'll put things like this. For this one, if he gets 17 for the answer, say this. Oh, you multiplied the exponent when you should have divided it. And the parents will get real comfortable. They'll be like, what were you thinking? You multiplied the exponent. You should have divided it. So that's a way. Like I said, we do these Ed Puzzle videos. Can you press play on the video? Can you get your kid to sit there and watch this, press play on the video? Can you, tutoring is at 7:15 with Mr. Harding. can you get your kid in that room at 7:15 for tutoring? So there are resources and things you can do as well. Yes? Sure. So I think his question is, well, teachers get other opportunities here. Like, I'll be honest, I make like a speech or two a month, like 1 or 2 a month. I might miss 1 or 2 days a month. I don't miss much more than that. Sometimes our staff will leave to go do an event, then they come right back. But for 18 years, we've never had a substitute teacher. Never. For 18 years. Here's the way it works. Kim Bearden, best ELA teacher in the world. This is how much time she's supposed to have with your kid each day. If I'm absent, she has this much time. When I come back the next day, she has a little bit less, I have more. It always balances out. So your kid is every moment here, academic instruction with one of their teachers, focused, killing it, and no substitute teacher, no wasted time ever. Yes. So, yes. Yes, we have a nurse, full-time nurse. She's outstanding. She worked 27 years in the operating room. She's an outstanding nurse. She was the head of other nurses. She is phenomenal. And so Ms. Charlene Averill, she's outstanding. We have an outstanding counselor as well. Yes?
Do students ever struggle transitioning from this school to like a traditional academic setting, like a regular high school?
Do kids struggle when they leave here to go to high school? Well, first of all, they're very excited because there's more people to date, because they ran through the pool here. And so they like that. Do our kids struggle? It is different for them sometimes, but our goal here is to prepare our kids for any situation. We want our kids to have the confidence, the poise, the knowledge to handle any situation. And I know y'all are not thinking this as third grade parents, but 65% of our kids that come here go to a boarding school when they leave. Now, I didn't know anything about boarding schools when our school started, but these are schools where the Vanderbilt's grandchildren, the Kennedy's grandchildren, the Prince of Arabia's son go. These schools are incredible opportunities, and they take about 65% of our kids. They would offer every kid here a scholarship. Every kid could go to some boarding school. Just some families say that's not for us. We'd rather our kids stay in Atlanta. I don't want my kid to be there yet. My kid's not ready for that, and we're fine with that. We have about 25% go to local private schools like Woodward or Westminster, and then some go to local public schools, but they get in magnet programs, IB programs. We don't care where the kid goes. We're happy for them. Just be happy, and we'll support them wherever they are. Yes?
How did you come up with your magic number, like how many students you take?
How do we come up with the magic number of how many students we take? We normally like to have one class. It normally ranges from 28 to 32 kids. Some of it is funding based. Last year we had an unusual thing happen in terms of funding where we had an opportunity that we were going to be able to accept more. We took 55 kids. If somebody would come here right now and write us a check for $20 million, we'd expand the school, have more kids, grow it. Right now we don't have that luxury. The way our school makes money, I told y'all, how is it? Visiting educators. When COVID happened, we lost everything we had. Nobody could come here for 14 months. Our school was closed. Then we opened our doors back up to visitors. They had to sit 10 feet apart with masks on. So it was horrible. It took forever. People wouldn't get on airplanes. So all the money that we had, every bit of penny we saved, was all gone. Our school was about to close forever. And so we are just now getting back on our feet. If we had tons of resources, we would be taking more kids. Right now, in terms of the money we have in the space, it looks like it's going to be a 30-student year for us. Yes? 30 kids in one class. The goal is we don't do small group. If your kid's got special learning needs, we're not going to do a small group breakout. The philosophy is everyone's in there together, and we on this train, and we go in here, and we about to get there. That's the whole goal. That's how we increase the test scores, help the kids grow, the confidence. Yes.
When they travel, do the parents get to travel with them?
When they travel, you ain't going. No, because when I was in North Carolina, I started traveling. And here's what parents would do. I have no control over y'all. Y'all don't work for me. I don't pay you. You just parents. And parents would be like this. I'd be like, tell a mom, you watch these 3 kids. And I see the mom, they're going into the quick 7. I'm like, what are y'all doing? She's like, Miss, I had a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, no. She's like, I'm not going to smoke in front of the kids. I'm going to go around the corner. I'm like, no. So I can't have parents go on trips. Because you may be a great parent. You may not. I can't make that decision. My staff, they're on payroll. My staff's on payroll. In 18 years, we've never had an accident happen on a trip. Nothing's ever happened with a kid. Everything's been safe, no issues. They all come back home. It's beautiful. Because my staff, we have trained. We know our procedures. We know rules, regulations. It is tight-knit ship. We know how to do these trips. We've been all over the world with kids. We've done it a lot. I can't have somebody come in because you don't know what's going on. Oh, but I'll help. Nope. These people I pay, they're going to do what I say. And that's how we're going to run the ship. Okay, let's do these 1, 2, 3 final questions, then we'll be done. Yes? It doesn't matter. She said, is it a clear book bag? It doesn't. We actually buy the book bag to give you. Yes? She said, what if my kid's in a gifted program at their school? We don't do a special gifted program for kids here. We treat every kid in the building like they're all gifted. I expect this from all of you. You're all getting a gifted curriculum. You're all getting challenged. And if you're thinking, my kid's like special, my kid's like really gifted, and this might be too easy for my kid, your child is going to cry. Your child is going to go home and cry because the gifted kid cries more than the others. Because gifted kids have always been told, you're so smart, you're so special, everything comes easy. They're praised everywhere they go, they're praised so much, and then they come here and it's challenging and they fall apart. But then we build them back up. I want them to fall apart here and not out there in the real world when they're 21 years old. Fall apart here, I'm going to try to handle this, to adjust and rise to the occasion. It's a life lesson. And who was the last one? Was it here? Yes, sir. Oh, there's another one? Okay.
I'll just go really quickly. Technology is my question. How often do you all use it, and is it provided for students?
We do it a lot. I'm old-fashioned, y'all. I'm 1980s. I like the pen to paper. My tests are pen to paper, pencil to paper, but my practice tests are pencil to paper. But they all have iPads. They prefer to use them. We give them all iPads. They all have that technology. And then was there one final here? I didn't want to miss that person if there was. All right, y'all, so what we're going to do now is you will hear back by the beginning of March, one way or the other. Thank you so much for applying. I love you. You're going to head this way. You're going to go out to the courtyard, across the street. We'll see y'all at 7:45. Thank you, everybody.